My fellow Americans, distinguished members of Congress, allies and partners around the world, tonight I address you from the Oval Office at a moment of serious reflection for our nation and for the international community. The United States has long stood as a pillar of freedom, fairness, and mutual respect among nations. We believe in partnerships built on trust, responsibility, and respect for democratic values. Yet there are times when our commitment to those principles requires difficult choices that defend not only our national interests, but the integrity of international conduct itself. Today, I am announcing a series of measures, comprehensive and decisive sanctions against the Republic of Burkina Faso and its head of state, President Ibrahim Traore, in response to his government's repeated acts of hostility toward the United States, his open alignment with anti-democratic movements, and his public statements inciting unrest and disinformation against the American people. Over the past year, the world has watched the unfolding crisis in parts of West Africa, a region of enormous potential, rich history, and hardworking people who deserve peace, progress, and prosperity. Burkina Faso, like many of its neighbors, has faced serious security and economic challenges. The United States has consistently supported its people through humanitarian assistance, counterterrorism cooperation, health initiatives, and education partnerships. However, since the rise of the current military-led administration under Ibrahim Traore, that cooperation has been undermined by choices and rhetoric that reject constructive engagement with the international community. Instead of strengthening ties with democratic partners, the Traore government has chosen a path of confrontation. In recent months, we have witnessed alarming developments. Direct statements by President Traore accusing the United States of interference in domestic affairs, statements unsupported by facts, active support for groups promoting anti-American protests across West Africa and in the U.S. itself, disinformation campaigns targeting American institutions, values, and leadership. Let me be clear, the United States respects the sovereignty of every nation. We do not dictate internal politics, but we will not tolerate threats to our people, our democracy, or our partnerships through lies, hostility, or the funding of extremist propaganda. Before addressing the sanctions themselves, I want to remind the world what America has done and continues to do for the people of Burkina Faso. For more than 2 decades, American taxpayers have contributed hundreds of millions of dollars in humanitarian and development aid to help build schools, deliver vaccines, strengthen food security, and train local forces in counterterrorism operations against groups like ISIS and al-Qaeda affiliates. We have worked with countless community leaders, civil society organizations, and regional partners to foster stability, and we have done so not for profit, not for control, but because we believe that no child should grow up under the shadow of extremism or hunger. Yet, despite these efforts, the current leadership in Ouagadougou has chosen to turn its back on cooperation and pursue an agenda that undermines everything our partnership stood for. President Traore's recent speeches and actions have crossed the line of diplomatic disagreement and entered the realm of open hostility. He has publicly endorsed calls for mass protests against the United States, describing America as an imperialist force and encouraging what he called the liberation of Africa from Western control. While every leader has the right to express national pride and independence, inciting hatred and supporting false narratives about another nation is not leadership, it's provocation. Furthermore, credible intelligence indicates that officials within Traore's administration have facilitated networks spreading disinformation targeting American institutions and businesses. These networks have sought to destabilize confidence in American trade relations and to foster animosity between African youth and Western nations. This is unacceptable behavior from any government that wishes to maintain relations with the United States. In light of these developments, and after extensive consultation with our allies, I have directed the Departments of State, Treasury, and Commerce to implement the following measures, effective immediately. Comprehensive trade suspension. All direct trade between the United States and Burkina Faso is suspended pending review. No American firm may import or export goods, materials, or technology from or to Burkina Faso. 2. Travel bans and visa revocations. President Ibrahim Traore, members of his cabinet, senior military officials, and their immediate family members are hereby prohibited from entering the United States. Any existing visas are revoked as of this declaration. Asset freezes. The U.S. Department of the Treasury will immediately freeze all assets and financial instruments under American jurisdiction belonging to the Burkinafaso leadership, including accounts linked to state enterprises associated with the regime. Suspension of development assistance. All non-humanitarian aid programs will be paused. Humanitarian assistance such as food, health, and emergency support for civilians will continue through independent non-governmental channels. Diplomatic downgrade. The U.S. Embassy in Ouagadougou will remain open for essential consular services, but will suspend non-essential operations. Diplomatic engagements with senior Burkinafaso officials will be limited to necessary communications only. 6. International coordination. We will work closely with the European Union, the African Union, and regional partners to ensure consistency in response and to prevent the misuse of financial systems by the sanctioned entities. This decision was not made lightly. The United States does not seek conflict. We seek accountability. We believe in dialogue, transparency, and the right of every nation to chart its course. But that right comes with responsibility. Democracy is not a weapon of the West. It is the will of free people everywhere. When leaders exploit national pride to justify repression, disinformation, and hostility, they betray their own citizens more than they challenge others. Let me emphasize, these sanctions are not against the people of Burkina Faso. They are against the individuals in power who have chosen a course of confrontation over cooperation. The United States stands with the people of Burkina Faso, with the farmers, the students, the workers, the families who want safety and opportunity, not propaganda and isolation. To the people of Burkina Faso, you are not our enemies. We respect your courage and resilience. America has admired your traditions, your creativity, and your strength. Our hope is that one day, soon, our nations can once again work side by side to defeat terrorism, to build economic opportunity, and to advance peace. But that future depends on leadership that values honesty, partnership, and the well-being of its people over personal ambition and power. The door remains open, but it will not remain open forever. To my fellow Americans, we are a generous nation, but we are also a principled one. We cannot ignore leaders who threaten our values, who seek to destabilize democratic institutions abroad, and who turn our good faith into political theater. These sanctions send a message that America's patience has limits, that our partnerships are based on mutual respect, and that we will defend our sovereignty, our people, and our allies. Our economy remains strong, our alliances are firm, and our global leadership is as vital as ever. But leadership means responsibility. Responsibility to act when others seek to undermine peace and order. In the coming days, my administration will engage with regional organizations, the African Union, ECOWAS, and the United Nations to coordinate our approach. We encourage dialogue, not division. We invite nations in the region to work together to promote transparency, security, and opportunity for all. The goal of these measures is not punishment but correction, a clear signal that aggression and misinformation will not bring progress, but that cooperation and openness will. The United States will review these sanctions periodically. Should the government of Burkina Faso take concrete steps toward restoring constructive relations, including ceasing disinformation campaigns, ending the persecution of independent media, and re-engaging with democratic partners, we will be prepared to reconsider our measures. Our approach is not about permanent division, but about restoring accountability and respect in international relations. We remain committed to a future where African nations are strong, independent, and prosperous, not through conflict with the West, but through collaboration that benefits their people.
Throughout history, the United States has faced moments when standing up for its principles came at a cost. Yet every time we have chosen the harder path of integrity, we have emerged stronger, more respected, and more united.
This is one of those moments. Our leadership is not defined by dominance, but by the example we set. To the world, we say America will continue to stand for truth over propaganda, partnership over coercion, and freedom over fear. To those who challenge our resolve, understand that our patience should never be mistaken for weakness. We will always defend our nation, our people, and the values that make the United States a beacon of hope around the world. My fellow Americans, the world is watching how we respond to hostility and falsehood. Let it be known, we will respond with strength, with principle, and with unwavering confidence in the ideals that built this great nation. America's mission has never been to dominate others, but to uphold a system where nations can prosper through respect, cooperation, and peace. Burkina Faso can still choose that path. President Traore can still reverse course. But until that happens, the United States will stand firm in defense of truth, stability, and freedom. Thank you. May God bless the people of Burkina Faso. May God bless our troops and allies abroad. And may God bless the United States of America.